Hi, this is Candace Arney. I'm here with Joel Bruce Wallach, the inventor of Powerforms. Joel, I get this question all the time with people who
Mm,
haven't quite used Powerforms before.
mm,
And they want to know, well, what happens when I use it? What kind of experience am I going to have? How is this,
mm.
as people who don't really know anything about, how does this plastic plate work? I mean, how is this thing going to change how I think or feel or and so
Mm.
can you talk about how it kind of works with you? And the other thing I get from people that if you could integrate it in there is that um, everyone has a different experience. Some people, I know personally, I don't physically feel things in my body when I think of energy, but I do feel energy in terms of like an environmental feeling. So can you talk about how what someone's experience is going to be like with power forms? I know that was a lot, but
It is. So, Candace, so when you say environmental, you're somehow hinting how it feels within you, or as if you feel that you're interacting with the environment around you, right?
right, it's kind of so I could be in a space where I'm in a very contentious conversation. However, when I hold the neutral space, I'm
Right.
not so affected by someone else's energy. Okay, I
Hmm.
don't. I just feel more at peace and more. So when I talk about environmental, that's what I mean about myself. Where I know a
Mm.
lot of other people, when they hold the neutral space, they actually feel things. They feel energy within their body. So,
Right. Well, this is a super deep topic, and it's deep in a way because it's individual to everybody. So, if, for example, when I hold, me personally, hold the neutral space, everything seems to slow down, but my brain gets a little bit more clear, perhaps because it's cutting some of the static.
so you're talking when you say things seem to slow down. You're talking about what I was just talking about. It's kind of like
Mhm.
more environmental, where you just
Yeah.
feel differently. You don't
Hmm.
feel like tingling in your arms or something like that. You're just feeling your state. Your mental
Right.
processes are different.
Yes. Now, having said it doesn't feel like tingles, sometimes with, for example, this is the fire element from the element series. So with this one, if you're sensitive to energy, there's a subtle tingle that some will feel. The important thing to understand, though, your own experience when your energy interacts with the circuitry, the copper circuitry that's layered 4 layers deep in each of these discs, it smooths out your personal energy. So you have your personal experience of your energy starting to get smoother, which for one person it feels as if they're more at peace in the room. For somebody else, they feel more alive because it's getting them out of their head and bringing them into their body. But it's different for everybody. And these are subtle energy tools, not intense energy tools or obvious energy tools. They're subtle energy tools. So it's working gently so that you can work with it as long as you want. In other words, it's not as if you hold it, you're plugged into something, you get a jolt, and that's it. As you interact with it, it's very much like it's similar to with meditation or with exercise. You do you do a repetition of an exercise, and then you do another repetition, then you do, and each one feels slightly different. Or you're meditating, and 5 minutes goes by, and you're at a certain place, and then 5 minutes goes by, and then maybe you're at a deeper place or a more subtle place. So as your body interacts with this, you can be doing whatever you're doing, but on a subtle energy level, it's as if your body is meditating in a way. Not exactly like meditation, I'm just saying it's a metaphor in a way. because your energy is interacting with it. Your energy is getting smoother so that you can have a deeper quality of experience.
So when you were saying all of that, the picture I got when you talked about your energy interacting with the plate, I see this vision of all of the layers of the plate. And I know we see it as a flat element. However, it's actually dimensional, isn't it?
Exactly so. If you have a good sense of either energy or imagination, and you feel into the space, and if you're wondering, well, where's the space? It looks pretty flat to me. The space between these fingertips and my thumb. You'll sense a domain or a dimension or whatever you want to call it, and it's a meditative space. It's a place where energies are being smoothed out, and it's a vaster space than what you would expect to find in a seemingly solid object, because the fine-tuned copper circuits filter out the noise of the earth plane, and they open up a deeper space.
So
And
when you say,
if you have subtle energy experiences, that'll make sense to you. If you're trying to interpret everything in terms of the material plane, what I just said will sound like nonsense, but that's okay. Because the people using these are into energy and subtle experiences.
So for the person who hasn't really delved into subtle energy yet, and they're just, stressed or anxiety, and I mean, those people will have an experience with the plate, and it won't be as deep in it and as deep as what you just spoke about, but they'll still have an experience. And what I've seen with people like that who are new to working with subtle energy is that their first thought is, okay, I want to hold it and I want to feel something. I would like that jolt of electricity, or I want to feel like this, something happens like that. But that's not, I mean, there are people who have that experience, but it's not a typical experience. It is typically you'll hold it, and right away you may not feel something. The longer you hold it, if you're not used to energy, and I just say that one must remain open to what happens without expectation, because expectation will limit your experience.
And that's true with anything.
Yeah. So
if you were hiking in nature and people said it's a spiritual thing when you walk in nature, and you're thinking an angel is going to bop you on the head, no, it's more subtle than that. And so the copper circuits they interact with your energy so that you can have the next deeper level of experience that you, the individual, are ready to have. It helps you get there more quickly and easily because it's smoothing out your energy.
So as you talk about the walk in nature, and working with the disc is kind of like that walk in nature. When you start the walk, you have 100 things going on in your mind and your head, and as you walk and as you breathe, you start appreciating the trees and the nature, and all of a sudden all of those thoughts have dissipated. That's kind of like the experience of Powerforms without the forest.
It's a tree-free experience, but it puts you into the zone. This is where it starts to sound poetic and mystical and maybe a little bit mysterious. If you were walking in the woods and you just felt, what does it feel like to walk in the woods, and you closed your eyes, you don't see the trees, there's a vibe.
Right.
It's the vibe of nature. So if you're wondering, where's the nature in here? This will sound far out to some. It's the nature of the universe. Right. When you're walking in the trees, it's not just the trees. The trees are a conduit that connects with the earth, that connects with the sun, that connects with the planets, that connects with the stars. That deeper, you could call it a wave or a vibe or a feeling, the essence of the universe, when you can turn down the static, which the Powerforms helps you to do, you can sense that deeper something, but you sense it in your own personal way. Meaning, your vibe, whether it's walking in nature, sitting in meditation, or just filtering out some of the noise, it puts you more in touch with your personal vibe, your personal experience of that infinite energy. Now, that infinite energy includes you, because you're part of the universe.
Yes.
And that's something that we forget in our modern world, where we're so actively busy thinking and doing and worrying and whatever else we do. But there's something deeper, and it's always there. Now, for those people who are saying, well, I can get there with meditation, true. And some people will say, well, I get there with long distance running or going on bike rides or dancing. Yes, all ways that are valid to connect with the deeper you that connects with the deeper everything.
And with that, what the Powerforms help you do is these discs are tuned for different things. So with the portal, if I'm looking for answers and information, I'm going to work with my portal. If I'm stressed to the max, I'm going to pick up my neutral space. So all of them are like nature, but they're going to help you with different experiences. So it really truly is about what experience you're looking for when you're deciding to choose what plate to use.
That's a good point. To get back to our walking in nature, if you sit down by a giant boulder, it's an aspect of nature, but it's a slow aspect of nature. And then you look up at the clouds and you see the puffy clouds, flowing by, and that's a light, airy aspect of nature. You look at a tree, it seems magnificent and alive. It's got its own vibe. So, as you mentioned, the portal, that helps screen out the earth noise much stronger than some of the other plates, specifically so you can tune into universal essence. Now, if you've read a lot of metaphysical books and it says, the universe is this and there are all these dimensions, your head is filled with that knowledge. Powerforms helps you to be in the presence of and sense the universal energies as they actually are, not as they are described with words.
Wow, that is so...
That takes it to a deep place, right?
That is such a perfect description that we're gonna end this talk there, because that was perfect way to describe how the Powerforms work. Jill?
So let's just say that the universe is an energy. You can personally experience it, and when you personally experience it, it's just going to feel as if you're more settled within yourself. And it's okay if all this stuff is contradictory a little bit, talking about the universe and talking about the self, and saying it's sort of this, but it sort of isn't this. But that's the nature of the deeper reality that as our planet awakens, we're all awakening to. And with tools, we can get there more smoothly and easily in our own personal way.
Joel, thank you so much for that insight.
Thank you, Candace.